Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you guys are all doing well, and today guys we're back with the Vampire Coast versus Dark Elf showdown. It's going to be Solastra facing off against, I believe, the Supreme Sorceress of Burning Head. Should be quite a bit of fun. We got the triple cannon trying to duel with the triple bolt thrower, because the bolt throwers of course are very common in this matchup, so getting the triple cannon to try and combat them can actually do well. Typically triple carronade, in my experience, will win the duel if you're at maximum range, because you have 450 range against their 350, so you can literally like kill one bolt thrower before the other two can even start fighting. So we do have triple cannon backed up by double pole arms. As far as our army goes, going to be basic zombie mobs here with Solastra Dire Fin, whatever the hell she wants to be called. But she gets in there. She's a tank. She's a giant crab. And she basically just drops the Damned Knights Errant in the back line, which is very good against dark shards and artillery positions. And generally, it's just very powerful. On top of that, she does bring an arcane conduit. So if you do have a vampire caster as your secondary supporting character, it's really nice for just getting more oomph out of your lore of vampires. Now, aside from that, we got Sirens. Sirens are always an annoying unit. Granted, the Dark Elves do have a fair amount of magic damage. I still feel like Sirens can be pretty effective. And yeah, we'll see how they go. Scurvy Doggos, one here, one hiding far in the trees here. And there is a dreaded Dark Rider ambushed back here, which I certainly did not see. It was quite hidden. And that's it. So let's get this party started, guys. Let's have some fun. For my opponent's army, it's going to be probably one of the more classic styles of fighting Vampire Coast, which is a massive amount of bolt throwers and just cheap infantry. And some people mix in Dark Shards, some don't. I actually do like the Dark Shards quite a bit. They can definitely pound a lot of things on the Vampire Coast roster. No, so he does have some Witch Elves and Dark Riders in the backfield to kind of pressure my position, and that is it. So right here, we do have the Carronades shooting in. Carronades really teeing off here into the Reaper Bolt Throwers, and you can see getting some decent value. They're still steady, but you know, eventually we will be able to get in there and do some work. Now, the reason why I'm advancing up, even though I have the range advantage, is because if my army pressures into his, it's going to make it harder for his bolt throwers to get a good position, right? Because if I just sit back there, the bolt throwers can scoot up and he can shoot at me with impunity. But if I pressure up into his face here, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to do that. Now, some Scurvy Dogs do come off the flank here and attack his Dark Shards, and we get some decent damage, actually. And now this one bolt thrower is down to only one model, so that's quite nice. We've already killed one of those bad boys. It's completely gone now. So the cannons will be switching targets here in a hot moment. Now Solastra is going to be dogpiling in the front line, getting ready to party, while some Fellbats, I believe, dove over there to attack the Dark Shards. And Solastra basically just going to go up the center and drop her Knights. So a lot of Dark Shard fire coming in, very nasty. She certainly does not like that. Dark Shards are very good against her, and in retrospect, I probably should have gone out on the flank here and just pressured in from this way, but still, she's going to be able to get away. We get some Scurvy Dogs up and through the middle of the battle as well, so now we have the Damned Knights Errant right up in the pipe, which are going to get on the Bolt Throwers. The Scurvy Dogs are going to go back there as well. And he actually has Dark Riders with shields back here, which, to be honest, I didn't see. I was completely not aware of this. I think my halberds move up a little bit, so maybe I was kind of aware of it, but certainly didn't register with me here. So, yeah, this is going very good. Sirens are defeating Bleak Swords. Lost are taking a little bit of damage, but for the most part, the backline for the Dark Elves is in a lot of trouble here with the Damned Knights Errant. But now comes a very scary play. The Sorceress of Fire, who I was kind of ignoring, probably should have switched all three cannons and just blasted her. But now there's a fat, erect, burning head. Beautiful cast from my opponent, going right down the pipe there on the polearms. And suddenly, I got nothing left to defend my cannons, and I'm going to be losing about 400 plus 2 carronades worth. What are they, like 600, 800 apiece? I think they're 800, so 2,000 gold instantly lost. That is a pretty catastrophic situation. Now, the Bounce Power is still even because we were, I would say, quite decisively winning the front aspect of the battle, but a lot of that is contingent on us having the cannons to follow up with, right? And now that we don't have the cannons, things are going to get real spicy here in this battle. Those Damned Knights Errant really causing a lot of problems here, punishing the Dark Shards and also shutting down the artillery positions. All the Bolt Throwers for the Druki are more or less offline, if I'm not mistaken. We still, unfortunately for myself, only have one cannon. And now Solastra is going to be getting rampaged here. So this is certainly a big mistake on my part. I didn't really respect the Witch Elves, and I assumed I had really punished enough of his Dark Shards that it wouldn't be a problem. 2 of them are running. The Bolt Throwers are also running. But, you know, all it takes is one unit of super sauced up Dark Shards right here just to turn and really pound into the Dire Fin right here. And you can see she's rampaging pretty hard. I can't move her. Her leadership is not, it's at what, 27, 30? Yeah, so she's not like going to be going into crumbling range. Granted, I think there's a bug right now when something is rampaging and crumbling, it doesn't take the crumbling damage, but it's not even going negative leadership. There it goes. So right now, maybe, let's watch. Yeah, can't quite tell. It doesn't look like it. So yeah, maybe that bug is a serious deal. But it looks like the Dark Shards here are going to be punishing Solastra. And the Bounce Power was really even up until Solastra got caught. But once she got caught, really put my opponent in a very comfortable position. But he does have a very weak lord. The Supreme Sorceress isn't like a combat lord, so it's not like a lord that's still alive that can carry the game. So I didn't feel like I was quite out of the game yet here. Flaming Sword of Ruin going down. buffing up the Dark Riders who are going to be charging into the Sirens. Pretty cool usage for sure. Get some nice magic damage. Granted, the Sirens should still probably win that fight. The last of my Scurvy Doggos do collapse in on those Dark Shards and are able to break them. Now we have the Siren position still fighting here, and the Witch Elves are finally broken off, but not before the Solastra blunder cost me quite a bit. How much did it cost you? Everything. So Solastra is down for the count. I still do have my Vampire Caster, and we also have the cannon in the back that's still shooting. Some Sirens did overchase and unfortunately got juked by the Dark Riders, and I did kind of forget about those guys, so a little bit of a mistake there. But nonetheless, you know, the Dire Finn going strong. You see her. She's singing no more songs here, sitting on that crab. Nice Fireball from my opponent as well. Fireball is a very, very good spell against the undead factions, especially against the Vampire Captains because they have very low base armor values. But at this point, without having my leadership, without having the triple cannons, because, you know, if I had been more cautious with the cannons, right, you could have 3 cannons right now just pounding this Dark Elf army, which would be huge, and I could technically fall back and just use that as a bastion, but the cannon burning head plus the Solastra play, him catching me with the Witch Elves and him getting a beautiful burning head, I think were some very, very decisive factors, because from here, it's more or less just my Vampire character, which is not going to have any chance against this number of Druchii bodies here. There's so many spears, so many units, and I just have the one dreaded Haggard cannon in the back, which is making its valiant last stand. So well played to my opponent. It was a very fun game. And yeah, the burning head cost me the game. That killed my 2 cannons, killed my halberds back there. The Solastra thing was a huge blunder as well. She could have probably fallen back at that point. I had done enough damage. Maybe she could have just retreated back, been used a little bit more defensively with my caster, used some pistol summons, that type of thing. But in the end, he got me really good with that burning head. He really buttered those cannons bread, and yeah, it was beautiful. The artillery play went as planned. We did, you know, initially force him forward by taking out the artillery and the Damned Knights Errant and the dog. Pressure was good, but yeah, again, we have to be more alert for sure. I'm also thinking maybe getting in this particular build, cutting 1 Siren. I don't know. I'm on the fence about the Sirens in this matchup. Maybe cut those. I mean, you can see the only magic was from the Lord, which got a ton of value, by the way, 2,000 plus from that burning business. But maybe cut 1 Siren and just get a couple like cheap pistol summons and keep them in the midfield, or maybe handgun summons. So cut like a Fellbat plus a Siren to get 2 Zombie Park Gunnery mobs, and then you can use those in the midfield just to shoot against a character like that flying over your army. Because aside from focusing her with the cannon, I didn't really have too many choices. That was a very, very good play on his part. It was masterful for sure, and it was a good game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Let's go to the drawing board. Let's go ahead and theory craft the build. Ice Power and I had a couple fun games. You'll be seeing them on the channel. The next one will be Empire versus Bretonnia, which was a really, really good match. Good old Franz versus Lewin, actually. He didn't bring Fey Enchantress. So yeah, I probably need to update that build. I did like it. I did like the triple cannons. I usually, I'll show you guys the build I do usually use here. So Bretonnia or Coast versus Dark Elves. I have a couple. This is one. This is like a traditional handgun push. That's okay. Although lately I've been really struggling to protect my zombie handguns from mass Dark Riders. And I feel like this build would probably just get picked apart by his bolt throwers. Like I would advance taking bolt thrower fire. The Dark Riders would swarm me. It'd really put me on the defensive. Granted, I can fend them off, but generally I don't know if I like that build too much anymore. So Coast vs. Dark Elves 2 was the other one. This is kind of the base inspiration for the build you saw, but I decided to use Solastra, which I actually think she's pretty good there. Luther is good because he gives you like screening against flyover, and he's also very good at sniping the lords. But Solastra is very good against the wide style of build. So if they're using, and you can cut pretty much that, you can cut the Lord of the Deep spells. I think against Dark Elves you do need healing. I think there's some matchups which you can get away with not using it, but in this matchup I think you do need it. They have some very hard hitting assets. So the bombers are pretty good against like loose infantry getting through. The Sirens I'm really on the fence about. It's really nice to have that cheap source of terror, but let's go ahead and go to the drawing board on this one. We can kind of save it. I mean, you could get real crazy, go like triple cannon with Queen Bess, but I think this is fine. So, okay, here you'll probably win the artillery duel. On top of that, I think we need a bunch of Scurvy Dogs. Scurvy Dogs seem to be really good in that matchup. Probably 3 is fine. I think 4 is a little bit too much to micro, at least for myself. From here, I always like to get like, excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit today. I always like to get like 1 depth guard to kind of have that bad boy lurking in the backfield. Probably drop the pistol summons in favor of perhaps the black spot's okay. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the black spot. Get a couple handguns here. So how do we deal with Dark Riders is the question, because they're going to be quite nasty. The bombers can kind of deal with them. In this case, we probably want to get another deckhand mob just to fight up in the front. And yeah, that's the issue, right? Dark Riders are a bit of a problem. Halberds will defend the carronades pretty good against them diving, but even if they dive and you're caught out of position, it can be quite nasty for sure. You know, on that same note, that's where like having one, maybe we just get 1 handgun and 1 Siren. that Siren could be used in the backfield to defend your cannons, because it can actually, if you have the bombers plus the Siren defending your cannons, you can terror route the Dark Riders off your cannons very quickly, especially if you have a Scurvy Dog helping. I think actually this feels pretty good. So we'll do Coast versus Dark Elves. Yes, this looks good. And we'll give it a try. I'll let you guys know. Of course, Ice Power is one of the better Dark Elf players out there, so testing against him is always good. And I felt like the build before was good. A couple holes in the game, but generally I think it had some strength. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that one, and we'll be back with more replay soon. You guys take care and stay safe.